In the United States, the suffering of those in for-profit jails makes them a testament to the country's long track record of human rights violations. What has happened and is happening in private prisons across the U.S. have revealed a huge defect in the country's democracy. Private prisons were found in 1980s to make up for bed shortages in federal and state prisons in the U.S. Data from the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics showed that in 2019, there were about 116,000 U.S. prisoners held in privately operated facilities, representing about 7% of all state prisoners and 16% of federal prisoners. Profit-oriented companies soon found loopholes to turn the facilities into a cash cow.
Que tener prisioneros en las cárceles en Estados Unidos es un gran negocio. Y por eso Estados Unidos tiene el porcentaje de población más alto del mundo encarcelado.
In the past 40 years, these prisons were notorious for a kiss-for-cash scandal, pay-to-stay program, uncontrollable violence, exploitation of prison labor, and political donations. They have been denounced as an absolute hellhole. According to China's latest report on U.S. human rights violations in 2021, prisoners held in U.S. private prisons are at risk of being abused, and conditions in private detention facilities where migrants are held are poor. Another report by the Brennan Center for Justice at New York University said that prisoners in American correctional facilities have for decades worked without any wages or mere pennies an hour. The COVID-19 pandemic has made things worse, with more than a dozen states relying on this captive labor force to produce hand sanitizer, toilet paper, and other personal protective equipment at extremely low payment.
Las prisiones privadas son un gran negocio en los Estados Unidos, un negocio que mueve alrededor de $2.000 millones anuales, donde las ganancias son casi absolutas a partir de la explotación, de la esclavización de los presos que laboran en esos negocios privados. Mucha de esa gente cae en una especie de limbo legal porque están presos sin haber sido sometidos a juicio, sin que lo ampare ninguna ley, y por lo tanto pueden estar cumpliendo prisión por el tiempo que estima conveniente el gobierno del Estado o el gobierno federal.
Yet despite the scandals, private prisons continue to be lucrative. So why are private prison companies so powerful? Money politics. Companies operating private prisons meddle with politics by donating a huge amount of money to political parties and their electoral candidates in order to secure contracts. With domestic criticism and arguments about the private prison industry rising, U.S. President Joe Biden signed an executive order shortly after taking office in January 2021. It was supposed to stop renewing Department of Justice or DOJ contracts with privately operated detention facilities. What Biden didn't touch, however, was two other major sources of government contracts for these companies: immigrant detention and post-incarceration services like electronic monitoring. In addition, the executive order may create a scenario where companies sign more contracts with counties that directly contract with the federal government, allowing the companies to essentially circumvent the order. U.S. private prison system, in which businesses used to collude with politicians, epitomizes the country's money politics. As long as the systematic defect persists, the slave-like conditions in U.S. private prisons will endure. Over the past few decades, the U.S. has thrown mud at others in the international community based on unsubstantiated claims of human rights violations. But ironically, the country's private prison system is a testament to its record of human rights violations, revealing a huge defect in its so-called democracy.